Well, this one was interesting, wasn't it? We're back with a recap for Volume 10 of Love Island The Game All-Stars. If you haven't yet given it a go, I always leave the link up in the I button, so please feel free to go and press that. But oh my goodness, things happened this week. Or did they? Let's get into it. As always, there are 3 parts this week, and I wanted to start off by saying a massive thank you to everyone for just being absolutely wonderful. A massive, massive thank you to Jennifer, Mike, and Amir for your donations. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And for Willow and Ankunin for becoming channel members, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Everything that gets donated to the stream goes straight back into paying my rent and also making sure I can keep doing this full time. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Even if you watch the ads or you have YouTube Premium, it really helps me out, so thank you so much. Thank you for being wonderful, and thank you for being such a big part of the channel. The episode starts and there is some Kat and Lyle drama, of course, instantly, and that is only gonna continue for this episode. I will say, sort of slightly getting into it without really giving it spoiler territories, the overall feeling I have at the moment of Love Island The Game is that we are not the main character. And I know it's kind of weird because last season I was complaining about the fact that we were the main character and all the drama seemed to be like completely on us constantly. But this week it does feel a bit more like, okay, so this is the Kat show. This is the Lyle show. This is the Hamish show. You know, we're just kind of going along with it. So episode 1 starts off with us on the terrace. We're having a chat. We're having some talks about drama that happened the night before. And we come out of the hideaway with Natasha to go and sort of see what's going on. Now, I don't choose any options here in terms of the gem options. They're also kind of keeping things really close to their chest. They don't really want to talk about it. But then Jude comes up out of nowhere, right up to the terrace and says, "Hey girls, sorry to interrupt, but can I borrow Iris?" And he pulls us over to one side and says, "Hey, for 17 gems, how would you like to know some trade secrets?" We do not take the gem option. That was not something that was on our list. But what we do is instead go right past him and choose our outfit for the day, because why have we got time for Jude? We get ready because there is going to be a Mr. Love Island contest, and oh my goodness, it looks like it's going to be a good one. Do you remember the Mr. Love Island contest from season 2? It was really, really good. And today it's like, well, if that was so good, this is gonna be even better, right? So as we go out onto the challenge stage, I really like the graphics for this scene, by the way. I don't know why. The blue, it just caught my eye. I really liked it. But we get the option to choose whether or not to oil someone up, make them a bit slippier, and we have the choice of all of the boys. Who do we want to oil up? I know that we don't want to oil up Jude, so that knocks 1 off our list already, and Hamish is there. And we got a little bit closer to Hamish in the last part, so half of me is like, well, maybe we should just continue this, and then half of me is like, why don't we go for someone completely different? But we do go for Hamish, and we oil him up, and we have a little bit of a moment. Hamish, ready to be oiled up and slippery? Yeah. Not you. Hamish. Did someone just say oil and my name in the same sentence? Hamish grins and swaggers over to you with a bottle of oil. Do your worst, Iris. What part of me would you like to rub? Your front. I want to rub your front. Be my guest. Pouring a generous amount of oil into your palms, you rub your hands together, feeling the silky texture warm up. You step closer to Hamish, your heart pounding with a mix of excitement and anticipation. Starting at his collarbones, you use slow, deliberate strokes to spread the oil. Your fingers trace lines over Hamish's pecs, gliding over the hard muscle. Hamish lets out a soft sigh. And the boys do their routine. So Hamish goes first, and all it is a little bit of dancing, really. Like, all of the routines aren't very exciting. They go round. Sometimes they make a pass at a girl. Sometimes they don't. And then at the end of each of the boys' routines, you have the option to tickle them or not. Now, the only person I tickled was Finn, and I'll get on to that. I did not enjoy this. I don't think we should tickle people without their consent. To be fair, you can sort of like add that into the game in your head and be like, oh, maybe they did kind of give consent because they're taking part in the challenge. But Hamish went, followed by Stefan, followed by Jude. Jude did try and make a pass at us. The Stefan one was actually quite interesting because he was going towards Natasha with a bit of like pizzazz and then changed his mind and went for Uma instead, which seems so out of left field, by the way. Lyle had his go, and for Finn's go, Finn decided to do some Irish dancing and we got up and we joined in. We also asked Kat where was best to tickle Finn and he said it was really ticklish around his waist. That was the only tickle we did. I staunchly said no for all of the other ones, which Hamish and Jude in particular really did appreciate. I suppose it's because they're ticklish and they didn't want to get tickled. We then have to go away from the boys and decide who we're going to crown Mr. Love Island. And this time round, it was not unanimous, but for some reason we got our way. We thought about it and we debated it and we decided the winner of Mr. Love Island 2025 was Hamish. Now, one thing I will say is that unlike season 2 Mr. Love Island contest, there was no speeches. There was no real glitz and glamour about it. It was just a case of existing in the same area as the boys as they did a little bit of a show. They were all wearing like really tight, what are they called? Speedos. Like a really tight pants kind of look, and it looked good, kind of. So Hamish wins the Mr. Love Island contest, and that means that he gets to pick someone to go on a date with. We also see that Finn has a letter that he's kind of tucked in his pants. We're not really allowed to see it. Hamish chooses to go on a date with us, of course, so he takes Iris out, but that doesn't happen just yet, because before that, Finn and Jude have a little bit of a head-to-head about why we shouldn't be given the letter, which Finn has kind of insinuated is meant for us. And Jude really doesn't like this. That is where episode 1 ends. I'm not sure it was my most favorite episode in the world. I really didn't like Mr. Love Island. I didn't think it was like the best version of it that I've ever seen, but I also just didn't really enjoy the tickling. I don't know if this is a personal taste thing. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you enjoy Mr. Love Island? Did you enjoy the tickling? And then episode 2 starts, and it starts off with having an option to spy on Finn and Jude. Finn and Jude have decided to go and chat off on the lawn. This is a 10 gem option to go and check out what Finn and Jude are saying on the lawn, and we kind of gaslight ourselves into going. So we march across the lawn and we hide behind a plant. Just imagine hiding behind the plant. And we're listening intently to what Jude and Finn have to say about us. Basically, what transpires out of this whole speech is that Jude has always had a thing for us, and he's really hoping that Finn doesn't show us his letter. He says that he can't stop Finn from proclaiming his feelings for us. It turns out the letter that Finn's written is a kind of like an ode to us to say that he wished he could have explored his feelings with us more, because he was sure that he was going to get kicked out after Casa and Moore, because he was going to stick with Kelly and knew that Kelly wasn't going to do the same. However, obviously, Kelly did stick and so did Finn, so they got to stay together a little bit longer. But it was all a bit of a muchness. It was a much of a muchness, you know what I mean? It was definitely worth 10 gems, this option, because it was very long, it went into detail, it was just like a nice option. It felt like it was definitely worth the money. I probably wouldn't have taken it if it wasn't 10 gems though. I didn't need much convincing for this one, even though Joey always does manage to convince me of things. We immediately have a girls debrief afterwards, and we decide to tell the girls everything. There's not really any point in keeping it a secret, so we tell them, and I forgot that that would probably hurt Kelly in the process. She takes it really well though, but yeah, there's definitely a little bit of hurt. We then go and choose our outfit. We get all dressed up because we are going on a date. We do a poll to make sure that all of you are on the same page as us when it comes to the hair, and Amir convinces me at this point as well to get a new outfit. So we pick up this really nice new outfit on Love Island. I actually really like this option. I don't know if I would have chosen it without the nudge from Amir though, so thank you very much. And just before we go and step out the door for our date, Finn pulls us for a chat and we head over to the swing seat. So we sat down on the swing seat, we're having a bit of a chat with Finn. It's all going well, or is it? He's trying to be really sweet and loving and kind of declare his love for us again and tell us a little bit more about the letter. I will admit, I wasn't the nicest person to Finn in the world. I pretty quickly shut him down and said, hey, you know what? I'm sure everything is great. I'm sure you're great, but I want to go on my date. So goodbye. And we walked out of that situation pretty pronto. Now, this date with Hamish definitely gave me mixed feelings. I really want to say that it was a good date and I really enjoyed it and it was something that was so beautiful and lovely. But I think by the end of the date, my feelings on Hamish were kind of changed a little bit. Don't hate me. I really like Hamish. I think he's great, but he did say the words din-dins. And he talked about his daddy a lot, like his dad, but daddy. I don't have a problem with any of this. And I actually found myself relating to Hamish at one bit about how his dad was and his work ethic, and how Hamish has picked up that work ethic as well, which was really nice. It was a really nice moment of humanity. And I actually think that Hamish was really well characterized. I think that's why I maybe got the ick from him a little bit, because he came across as a really real person. And I know that's not something that we usually see all of the time when it comes to the Fusebox Love Island interest. I really liked that about Hamish, and I like the fact that he is his own person and he is his own character. What remains to be seen though, and I think a lot of you commented on this in the live chat at the same time, it did seem like some of this was recycled information, although I think everything pertaining to his dad and the stories about the golf course and stuff like that were Hamish only. But correct me if I'm wrong down below. We did get a gem option. I believe it was 17 gems to stay and chat with Hamish a little bit longer, which we did take, and it actually did add some nice romantic-y kind of things to Hamish, and we had a little kiss as well. We did have a kiss with Hamish, just a little one, in the challenge earlier as well, which I forgot to mention in the Mr. Love Island challenge. But this kiss was private, it was just for us, and it was really nice. Don't forget that Hamish is supposed to be like the best kisser in the world. I will say though, it wasn't very long, it wasn't very drawn out, it was just kind of like a come here kiss, get on your way. I'm not sure if I would have paid the gems if I'd have gone back and done that again, but you voted for it. Like, you massively voted for us to do it, so I'm really glad we did. That was 17 gems. Hamish said his red flag was that he laughs at his own jokes as well. I wonder if that's the same for all of the love interests. When we got back from the day, it was a little bit strange because Hamish immediately offered us his mum's ring. Now, I think his mum passed away when he was little. I don't think she's around anymore. So he carries around his mum's ring on a necklace, and he gave us this to wear. Now, what I believe is if you went on the date with Natasha, you had the option to carry the necklace and the ring from Hamish as a friend. But for me, my options were to carry the necklace kind of romantically and just take that from him, or to refuse to take it. I did refuse to take it personally. I had a little bit of a moral dilemma, but I did think that we're not quite in this relationship enough to consider carrying around his mum's ring. So we decided to keep out of it a little bit. But what I will say is it didn't seem to affect the rest of the story. He was a little bit saddened by it at the time, but overall, I think he was okay with it. Finally, Kelly pulls us over and says, I have some gossip for you. We did not take that option. I am so sorry, but we decided not to do that. Allegedly, according to a couple of you in chat, it was finding out that Lyle and Kat kissed, but if you want to let me know more, please let me know down below. And that is when the episode ended, because movie night was about to begin with a very special guest who we saw silhouetted. I did have to try and guess who this person was. I was thinking it could be Max, and Dylan in chat also was kind of like, it looks a bit like Max, the way the hair looked. But it turns out that it wasn't Max. And I will have to say, if you've seen the thumbnail, you probably already know who it is if you were just here for the recap. But we had villainous, shall we say, Zeph. You're all still standing, jaws dropped as the mysterious figure comes into view. It's Zeph! I think he looks very good. And I think he is... I don't know about the outfit. I can't lie. I don't know if he's going to stick in the villa, but I love his sleeve. Now, Zeph was borderline featured in Double Trouble. He was talked about a lot. He had dated both the MC and her twin sister Emilia. So very, very interesting person to come into the villa, especially considering he was not actually a previous contestant. But he's just here to host movie night, what will be one of the driest movie nights I've ever experienced in this game. I don't know why it felt so dry. How many of you disagree with me? Please, let me see if I can find some love for this again. But nothing really happened. I will say what I was really waiting for was the fact that Jude should have apologized to us and said that he made a mistake with Uma. That didn't happen. We did get a sort of like lovey confession from Jude, and it was after he came back from Casa Amor and before Uma. So I don't really consider it having counted properly. But episode 3 starts. Sorry, I got way off onto a tangent there. And we see Zeph for the first time. We choose our outfit, we go for the this gorgeous green dress that just looks absolutely stunning. And Zeph introduces himself. The island kind of splits themselves into people who know who Zeph is and are fans, and people who don't care or don't know. We firmly put ourselves into the camp of, oh, that's cool. I don't really care who you are. I don't really know who you are either. But Kat immediately jumps on Zeph, not literally, but I think she would if she had the chance, and is like, oh my gosh, this is the most attractive person I have ever seen in my life. And that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the episode as well, because Lyle isn't very happy about how much Kat is into him. Not into Lyle, into Zeph. The first clip was Uma saying that she used Hamish. I can't really say that I expected anything else from that. The second clip was Lyle complimenting Iris on their date, which for some reason, the date before he even came into the villa, by the way, this is the one where she was picking between Jude and Lyle. Kat gets really upset about because for some reason, she thinks she's entitled to Lyle's feelings before they had even met. So I really don't understand this situation. Lyle also explained himself, and when I butted in and was like, I think she's right to be upset about the fact that you have feelings for another person, which I do think is the right of Kat's. But I was also fanning the flames a little bit. I also did get told that I was fanning the flames, so I wasn't very happy about that. We also have the third clip, which is Finn writing this letter, and it's exactly the same stuff as we went over before. It's just a little bit frustrating and a bit icky, which we did say. We did tell him straight up that it was yuck, yuckety yuck, if I'm quoting directly. He looks at you, waiting to hear what you thought of it. Yuck is all I can say. Yuck, yuck, yuckety yuck. And that's why I ripped up the draft. We also have Stefan and Finn talking, and Stefan saying that he feels like he should be picking Uma over Nat because he gets on with Uma better. Kat behind her back, which she talks about with Lyle when we were saying don't get involved in Kat's drama, which I do think I stand by, and I said that in the game. I said that we stood by that. Hamish and Jude talk about how Hamish feels having cheated sort of on Nat, and that's a really nice moment as well, where Hamish again doubles down and says, or triples down at this point, and says how much he didn't really like who he was when he was doing that, and he'd never do that again. He actually calls it the biggest mistake he's ever made. It was then 10 gems for an extra clip. That is where we see something that is not worth paying 10 gems for. This is a clip playing of Lyle drawing on a mirror in Kat's lipstick, hiding socks from Finn, and putting crisps in Hamish's pillow. We're basically seeing Lyle in his Winston state. If you've seen New Girl, you know what I'm talking about, the pranking episode. We also then found out that Lyle seems to be playing the field a little bit, so maybe Kat definitely wasn't unfounded in her feelings. We have a clip between Kat and Kelly, and they're talking about how they're glad they can get on and talk now, even though they're talking about Finn. We see that Jude is really happy to stick with Iris, but again, that happened before the whole Uma situation, so I don't really think that's got any bearings anymore. We find out that Hamish was nervous about dating Iris and really likes her, which is really nice, but I don't know if that's like good enough. And then we have the cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers. This is the end of the episode, and we are not going out without a final little bang, which actually makes this whole volume kind of worth it, and I really enjoyed this little twist on us. Zeph, the host, the VIP host, is not just a host. He gets a text on his phone, and it's an announcement, and it says, "Hey Zeph, welcome to Love Island. You are a contestant on the show." He knew, obviously, from the beginning, which is why he wasn't weighing in on any drama. But do you know who didn't know? All of us. We did not know. But it's really nice. I think it's going to be really fun to go and get to know him more. We also ended the stream by finding out that there is going to be a boys' choice recoupling in the next part. Now, my personal thoughts are I think Zeph is going to pick us, and then the rest of the recoupling is going to go from there. I think otherwise, people would be too kind of unresty about the fact that Stefan might pick us, Jude might pick us, Hamish might pick us, and it's not someone we necessarily want to pick us either. Then again, a couple of you pointed out in the stream as well that there are too many boys and not enough girls. So does that mean one of the boys is going? But then that doesn't make any sense. So what if we get some new bombshells who are entering the villa? Maybe some new women? Maybe? Please let me know what you thought of these parts down in the comments below. Did you enjoy them? Did you think they were good? I'm torn. I'm not entirely sure how I felt about these parts. I thought that they were a bit long, especially the last part. It felt so long, which is different from my usual complaint, I think, which is that everything is flying by a bit quickly. So this is definitely on me to just have my Goldilocks moment. Nothing is just right Do you know what I mean? That's on me. That's not on Fusebox. Let me know what you think. Did you think it was worth it? Then again, I ended up spending a lot of gems again, so I clearly thought some of the options were really good. If last episode was filled to the brim with drama, unwanted, unnecessary drama, this volume was the complete opposite. Obviously, you can't skip it, but it wasn't my favorite. Thank you so much, as always, to our amazing channel members, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. These episodes, these streams would not happen, and I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, subscribe to see more, and you can turn on notifications so you know every single time I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching. You are all so incredibly lovely. Thank you for joining me for the live streams. They're every Thursday at 6 p.m. BST, and I will hopefully catch you in the next one. Bye bye.